What's up, guys? It's Jonathan with One Big Impact. We're going to go through a series of stretching and rolling out. So here you're going to be stretching out your quads. Every stretch, try to do for about 30 seconds, 45 seconds. Make sure you can breathe lightly through each stretch. If you can't, you need to back off a little bit. It's going to be a quad dominant. If you have tight calves while you run or plantar fasciitis, do the variation where you go to the side while reaching forward. A regular one just would be right in the front. Make sure with this exercise you're pushing your pelvis forward to intensify the quad stretch. And obviously go longer than what I'm going. Next, we're going to be working on stretching out the hamstring. Make sure you're pulling your toe towards your face. Try to keep that other leg down if you can. If you can't, that tells you you got a pretty extreme tightness in your hamstring, as I do. If I can't get my legs straight, that's something I want to work on a more regular basis. Working on the inside of your legs there. Try to get your knees flat. Just be careful. Again, these are some sensitive muscles. Reaching out. Hamstrings. Working on feeling it on the inside of your legs as well. Grab each leg. Going out. Remember, you will definitely be doing this longer than what you see me doing it in the video. Checking my timer. Doing the hamstrings eventually. Be nice to try to be able to reach your toes, but again, don't push anything. And then just trying to open up the hips. You can add any variation to this. If you have tight hips, you can work on either side like this. This is static stretching, by the way. This is something that you're going to be doing after a run, not before. Or after exercise, not before. Working on stretching out the back. You can't really see, but I'm rounding my back up. And then we're going to be doing the cobra stretch, working on the abdominals, stretching those out. And I will move to the side so that you can see that as well. This one's good. Feels really good, actually. Start with the roller in just a second. We're going to do a tricep stretch. For me, this one works really good. You can also put your arm in front of you over across the front, but I don't feel the stretch as much for me. And then stretching out the chest, opening up those pectoral muscles. Working on the forearms and the biceps. These simple things really can help you stay injury-free. Believe it or not, the only time I've ever been injured is when I've neglected these. And males and females both need to make sure they're doing this. So we're starting with the rolling now. We're going to start on the shins, rolling back and forth. Try to stay away from rolling on your joints, even if it feels good. It's not good for you, so be careful. Rolling back and forth. If you get shin splints, it's definitely going to benefit quite a bit. I tuck my shirt in. The reason I do that is because as I'm rolling out and everything, it tends to get stuck underneath there, and it's a pain. Now we're working on the quads. You can do one leg at a time. I would suggest, if you're new to this, do both legs and just seesaw back and forth. But I've been doing this a while, so I can kind of get in different variations wherever I feel tightness. Next, we're going to work on calves. Again, both legs at one time, trying to lift your butt off the floor, and I'll show you here how I'm making sure my butt is off the floor if you can handle it. If it's too much pressure, don't do so. If you want a more intense version of that, you will just stack your legs and go through the exercise that way. This is something that should be done 10 minutes before you run and 10 minutes after you run. It's good self-care. This is going to be your hamstrings. You can stack them if you like. If you neglect these things, your body will start to bind up if you're doing a lot of running. So this can be really beneficial. Also, if you're new here, check us out on Facebook. Our group is called Healthy Living for a Healthy Life. And on Instagram, One Big Impact. So right here, we're working on our iliotibial bands on the sides of our legs. This is a really common issue. These will tighten up severely. Also, they're extremely sensitive. So you see me putting both my legs up. I would suggest at first, like I showed you in the beginning of this, put one foot down just to gauge on how it feels for your body. It's usually really sensitive for my clients the first time. We're going to work on the glutes here. Trying to show you here, leg up, arm down, same side. Using your hand there as like a steering wheel, trying to find any tight spots. If you do find tight spots, make sure you are staying on them for a little while, breathe through it, and try to get rid of them. I'll show you a different angle here to hopefully help understand what's going on. If you have one side that it gives you an issue more regularly, more than the other, make sure you don't neglect it. If you ever have super tight spots, this should give you a good indicator that you need to make sure. So we're working on those inner leg muscles. Just rolling back and forth. If you have any type of pronation or supination with your knees or ankles or anything like that from any type of misalignment, whether it could be something that you have for like runner's knee, collapsed foot, or collapsed arches, or super high arches, this can be a really good thing not to give up. Working on your forearms. I know it seems silly, trust me, but this is something that you want to do really on a regular basis. You don't want to neglect any body parts. And although this is not necessarily specific to running, it's really important that you make sure that you don't neglect any body parts. Next, we're going to work on the back. So doing the back, try to go as far as you can, making sure that you are feeling it completely. Put your hands together and squeeze your head with your biceps to intensify the exercise. If you're not used to this, do not do this. It will take the breath out of you, so be very careful. Next, we are going to work on our lat muscles. This will also take the breath out of you, so be very careful. Reaching out with that front hand. Try to lift up on your body if you can. And then we're going to do the other side. These are some sensitive muscles that don't get a lot of stretching, and they definitely don't get a lot of applied pressure, so be very careful. I do it all the time, and it still takes the wind out of me every time. Next, we're going to work on the chest, pectoral muscle. Be careful. It can be a little bit painful. Some people experience it more than others. Just rolling back and forth, kind of breaking down that fascia and getting some blood flow in there for healing and making sure that the muscle stays loose and everything so that it can continue to get bigger. You guys have a beautiful day. Be stronger than your excuses. Remember to spread love, not hate. Keep up the good work and have an awesome afternoon. Bye.